The invitation seemed innocent enough, but by the end of that sunny afternoon, my entire life had changed in front of 50 strangers, and I was standing in the middle of a backyard wondering how I had become someone's boyfriend without even knowing it. Before we begin, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unexpected ways life can bring people together, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Heartline Stories. Your support helps these emotional stories reach more hearts around the world. My name is Rowan, and for nearly 3 years, I lived a quiet and predictable life. I worked remotely as a graphic designer, spent most of my days in my small apartment, and rarely attended social gatherings. The only bright spot in my routine was my cheerful neighbor, Aria. She lived across the hall and seemed to carry sunshine wherever she went. Every morning, she greeted everyone with a smile. She remembered birthdays, helped elderly residents carry groceries, and somehow managed to make even ordinary days feel a little lighter. We had become friends gradually. It started with casual greetings in the hallway, then shared coffee runs, and eventually long conversations on the apartment rooftop during warm afternoons. Despite our growing friendship, I never imagined she saw me as anything more than a good neighbor. Aria was outgoing, confident, and loved by everyone. I was reserved, careful, and often struggled to express my feelings. The truth was that I had secretly cared about her for a long time, but fear kept me silent. One bright Saturday morning, Aria knocked on my door carrying a homemade pie. She seemed unusually excited and invited me to her family's annual barbecue. She explained that relatives were visiting from different cities and that everyone would be gathering at her parents' house for the day. At first, I hesitated. Large family events were exactly the kind of situations I usually avoided. But Aria insisted, and something in her hopeful expression convinced me to say yes. The drive to her parents' house was filled with laughter and easy conversation. The weather was perfect. Clear blue skies stretched endlessly above us, and sunlight reflected off the green fields lining the road. As we approached the neighborhood, I could already smell grilled food drifting through the air. Children were running across lawns, colorful decorations hung from fences, and the entire area felt alive with warmth and celebration. When we entered the backyard, dozens of people were gathered around picnic tables covered with food. Relatives talked, laughed, and embraced one another. I suddenly felt nervous. So many unfamiliar faces turned toward us at once. My instinct was to stay close to Aria and avoid attention. For a few minutes, everything seemed normal. She introduced me to her cousins, grandparents, and family friends. Then, without any warning, she wrapped her arm around mine and announced to the entire gathering that I was her boyfriend. The world seemed to stop. Laughter, conversations, and clattering dishes faded into the background. Every eye in the yard shifted toward me. Some relatives cheered. Others smiled knowingly. A few began asking questions immediately. Meanwhile, I stood frozen, completely stunned. I looked at Aria, expecting her to laugh and explain that it was a joke. Instead, she smiled nervously and continued introducing me as though nothing unusual had happened. My heart pounded. Part of me felt embarrassed. Another part felt strangely happy. Yet confusion overwhelmed everything else. I had no idea why she had said it. Throughout the afternoon, relatives treated me like I had been part of the family for years. Her grandfather shared stories from his youth. Her cousins invited me into backyard games. Her mother insisted I try every dish on the table. Everyone seemed genuinely welcoming, but inside, questions continued spinning through my mind. As the hours passed, I noticed something unusual. Beneath Aria's cheerful smile, there was anxiety in her eyes. She laughed and talked with everyone, but whenever she thought no one was watching, her expression changed. She looked worried, almost frightened. Late in the afternoon, while the family gathered near the garden, I finally found a quiet moment with her beneath a large oak tree. The bright sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating moving patterns across the grass. For the first time all day, her confident mask slipped. She explained that her family had spent years pressuring her about relationships. Many relatives believed she was too focused on helping others and not focused enough on her own future. Every family gathering became an endless series of questions about dating, marriage, and settling down. This year, the pressure had become overwhelming. She admitted that she had panicked before arriving and made a decision she immediately regretted. But then she revealed something unexpected. She told me that when she imagined introducing someone as her boyfriend, the only person she could picture was me. The words hit me harder than I expected. For years, I had hidden my feelings because I feared rejection. I convinced myself that someone as kind and vibrant as Aria could never feel the same way. Yet standing there beneath the afternoon sun, I realized she had been carrying her own fears. She admitted that she wasn't pretending because she wanted to deceive her family. She was pretending because she was afraid to tell me how she truly felt. For a long moment, neither of us moved. The sounds of laughter drifted from the backyard. Children chased each other across the grass. Somewhere nearby, birds sang from the trees. It felt as though the entire world had paused to give us a chance to be honest. I finally admitted that I had cared about her for a very long time. Every rooftop conversation, every shared coffee, every smile in the hallway had meant more to me than I ever dared admit. The relief in her eyes was immediate. Years of uncertainty seemed to disappear in a single moment. When we returned to the barbecue, everything felt different. The introductions were no longer uncomfortable. The smiles from her family felt genuine rather than overwhelming. For the first time, I wasn't pretending to belong there. As the afternoon continued, I watched Aria laugh freely without the worry that had shadowed her earlier. Her family wasn't perfect, but they loved her deeply. And perhaps what mattered most was not how the day had started, but how honesty transformed it. Months later, I often thought about that barbecue. What began as one of the most shocking moments of my life became the beginning of something beautiful. Sometimes the people who change our lives are already standing right beside us. Sometimes fear keeps us silent for far too long. And sometimes a single unexpected moment forces us to tell the truth we have been carrying in our hearts all along. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Heartline Stories. Your support allows more inspiring stories to reach people who may need hope today. Special request: comment below and tell us, have you ever been surprised by someone revealing feelings you never expected? The brightest chapters of our lives often begin with moments we never planned. That sunny family barbecue taught me that love doesn't always arrive with perfect timing or careful preparation. Sometimes it arrives unexpectedly, in the middle of a crowded backyard, surrounded by laughter, family, and a second chance neither person saw coming. And when we find the courage to be honest, those unexpected moments can become the beginning of the happiest journey of all.